we're in the thick of it all. Circles, stages in the way, now trying not to break down, baby. Makes you wanna scream out. It's raining in your eyes, and you still don't understand why. It kills the one you're raised by. I'll be there for you always. Don't be scared, I'll be there for you always. Come on. I know that you're in pain. I wish that I could change it. I know we're in the thick of it all. I know we're in the thick of it all. Why? There's no one to bend down. Hearts don't break the same way. I know we're in the thick of it all. I know we're in the thick of it all. Look at my reflection. Know you got some questions, baby. We both wanna scream out. So much of us is missing. Everything is different, and it kills me every minute. I'll be there. I'll be there for you. Don't be scared. I'll be there. I'll be I know that you're in pain. I wish that I could change it. I know we're in the thick of it all. I know we're in the thick of it all. Why? There's no one to blame. Hearts don't break the same way. I know we're in the thick of it all. I know we're in the thick of it all. I'll be there. Don't be scared, I'll be there for you always. I'll be there for you always. Don't be scared, I'll be there for you always. I know that you're in pain. Wish that I could change it. I know we're in the thick of it all. I know we're in the thick of it all. There's no one to blame. Hearts don't break the same way. I know we're in the thick of it all. I know we're in the thick of it all.
Well, the party's going.
Yes, it is.
Going pretty hard. Ready to go to a rave? I'm ready to go to a rave.
I got my E. Oh.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Let's get this going.
Distance nerding.
Hey! There we go. What up, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It is time. It's Thursday. I'm your boy, Young Phil. That is the eternal beard, the Graveyard.
Yes.
Remember, Graveyard is just a beard. that happens to have a very white man attached to it.
Very white man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It is time for the build. We've got a great guest for you guys today. Of course, as usual, I'm going to be continuing to build the Concorde jet. But before we get into all of that, of course, got a little bit of housekeeping to get done, right? So let's talk about sponsors and who sponsors the show. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by the wonderful and beautiful people over at Chubby.
There you go.
A little late on the hand there, man. Ladies and gentlemen, W is a brand of energy drinks created to help focus, concentration, reaction time with no jitters or crash. W contains no maltodextrin, no sugars, no fillers, no artificial colors, no dyes, none of that stuff. It is delicious. It is somewhat okay not for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, W contains Neurofactor. Neurofactor is a neurotropic derived from the coffee fruit. Neurofactor helps give your brain focus and clarity, while 150 milligrams of caffeine and 3 essential B vitamins help you stay alert and energized. Find out more about W at www.w.gg. Use the code NERDING10 and you get 20% off on your order until the end of September, ladies and gentlemen. So get on that. Now is the time to try W if you have not tried it. And they just released 3 new flavors, which I have not gotten yet, so I need to get those so I can try them, because the purple sludge or whatever they're calling it, things like sludge juice or something, it looks delicious.
Oh man, if only someone would ship me some sample baggies with a board game.
Oh, that's right. I still have to ship you that game. So I should probably do that like tonight. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for sponsors. So I'm very excited for today's guest. I don't know about Graveyard. Graveyard's not much of a hip hop guy, but I am very much a massive hip hop guy. So Graveyard's going to white his way into this one.
Yes, I am.
But ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is a man with a lot of accomplishments. He was one of the first West Coast artists signed to Def Jam. And not only that, is a force in the hip hop community as well as in his own community. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, have the honor to speak with this man today. Put your hands together for Shug Jackson.
What's happening?
How you doing, Shug?
I'm doing great, man. No complaints at all, man. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing good, man. We're doing real good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely, man. So I'm going to jump right into this. So on our show, we've got a segment on the show called Growing Up Geeky, right? So what did you geek out on when you were a kid?
Man, what I geeked out on was probably, man, I don't know. I was just probably a sports geek, man. I mean, just a sports nerd. Anything sports, man. I loved it. You know what I mean? So probably that, man. And wearing tank tops. Wearing tank tops, man. I thought I was a little, the little stocky guy. I thought, you know what I mean? So probably those two things.
Who were your teams that you followed the most?
All the Arizona teams.
Yeah, Arizona. But I've always been a Dallas Cowboy fan, man.
Oh.
And a Denver Bronco. That's right.
Where's
Denver
my
Bronco, man? And Chicago Bulls, Los Angeles Lakers. Who is that? Who is that right there, man?
Nope.
Oh man, come on, man.
It's backwards to us, Phil. There you go.
Yeah. Oh man, come on, man. You still got time to be a Cowboy, man. You still got time.
Never. That is sacrilegious. That is sacrilegious where I come from. I'm from San Francisco, man. I'm from the city, so it's
that's why you still got time to get away,
Never. That is as sacrilegious for me to go to be a Cowboy fan as a Niner fan, right? Like to be a Cowboy fan, that is as sacrilegious as being a Raider fan. So I mean, like,
stranger things have happened. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you're a fan of basketball in the '90s, how can you not be a Bulls fan?
Bulls fan, man. Yeah, and
I'm only saying that because I'm from Chicago, but
you from Chicago?
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. But you had to be a Bulls fan.
Oh yeah, for sure. Never a Cubs fan though. Never a Cubs fan. Southside is always.
Yeah, I was never much a baseball guy, but never much. But I respect the sport. Just never really got into it though.
Into baseball?
Baseball, yeah.
I mean, I'm an all San Francisco guy, so I mean, Giants, Niners, the Warriors. But I mean, I was a Warrior fan back when the Warriors were garbage too. So I mean,
with Chris Muller, come on.
Yeah,
Chris Muller.
They had some good teams. They had some great players on the teams.
But I mean, for a long time, we had nothing. But I mean, we had good players. I mean, Muggsy Bogues was on the Warriors for a little bit. Yeah. We had he mentioned Chris Muller. We also had all of a sudden
Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond, yeah. I first became a Warriors fan back when Latrell Sprewell was on the team. It was mainly because my brother took me to my first game, and he was a 3-point machine back then. So every time he dropped the three, it would be like, Spree for three. And I was like, I'm like a 6-year-old kid, and I'm just like, yo, this is dope, right?
Right.
I became a Warriors fan after that, and it was all because of Latrell Sprewell. And then as it came on, like Baron Davis was a monster, I followed Baron Davis pretty tough. And then, of course, now, everybody's bandwagoning because like we have a dynasty going. But I mean, like, I was a Warrior fan before all the hype happened.
All the hype, right.
And how many repeats of 3-peats did you have there as a Warriors fan?
Okay, I mean, I will give you that you have one of the most legendary basketball teams in the history of the NBA. It's between the Lakers and the Bulls, but sure.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
But before we jump off, because we can turn this into a complete sports podcast at this point and just the rest of our fans.
You exhausted my knowledge of sports knowledge, all right?
Oh man, I would go deep into 90s sports real hard, man. I actually just watched the documentary. Me and my wife watched the documentary last night on what's his name? He was the quarterback from the Titans that got killed in 2009.
Steve McNair.
Steve McNair. We just watched the McNair documentary last night. And that documentary pissed me off because it ended and it didn't tell the story.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times, and am
I missing something right now? It felt like they didn't finish it.
Right. Like they said, I will come back to this, but never got back to it. So
right.
Yeah.
They just dropped a whole bunch of stuff and was like, okay, who did it? Who did it? That's it.
Yeah.
It ended. Like, the hell?
Yeah.
Give me a part 2. Anyways, so the next question I got for you here. If a movie was made about your life, who would play you and why?
Wow, who would play me? Interesting. I would probably say probably Ice Cube, man. Reason why, because I think we have kind of the same characteristics, probably the same demeanor, and he a good friend of mine. So probably Cube, man.
Now, would it be Cube or would it be O'Shea Jr.?
Well, O'Shea Jr. looked just like him, so and act just like him. So, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Because O'Shea's kind of more of O'Shea Jr. is more of an, like focused on being an actor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, given that Cube is probably similar in age.
Yeah.
O'Shea Jr. might be a better pick as far as portraying a younger version of you.
Playing the earlier years, yeah.
And then he gets his dad to play the current age version of you.
Right. Right.
That'd be funny if you have Cube play a current version of you and then just have you play your boy. Cameo by Shug Jackson.
Yeah. You're right. Hey, you might have something there though, but
right.
Yeah, I would think that would be a good fit, man.
Nice. So I mean, like, speaking of Cube, like you've listed your influences as Ice Cube, LL Cool J, Rakim. What about those particular artists interested you in shaping your own style and your own dynamic?
What was the artist that kind of I molded my style after?
No, saying like you've listed them as your influences.
Yeah.
So like, kind of what have you taken from them in order to mold your own style and kind of like, how did they shape what became Shug Jackson?
Well, Rakim, I think I took more of his kind of his delivery, his because the dude is sharp, with his delivery and his and the lyrics, the subliminal messages in his music. You know what I mean? You got to listen to his music a few times to really kind of like, damn, he said that. You know what I mean? Even after you listen to it 10 times, you know what I mean? So, and I think I'm good with doing that in my music. Kind of the subliminal messages. I really like that about him. As far as LL go, the charisma that dude had.
Oh,
man. I mean? It still has, actually.
Yeah.
The knowing how to adapt with the times and knowing how to be kind of well-rounded instead of just being stuck in a box and just being a one-stop pony, should I say. Because a dude can do from talking about, I need love to I'm bad, you know what I mean? Or, street records and also kind of what people will quote unquote call soft records. So,
right.
And then Cube, doing as many shows as I did over the years with Cube, I really studied his stage presence, his movement. And really wasn't hard because I kind of found myself, we both got a heavy voice. We both got kind of the same delivery. And so I kind of, if you see me on stage and you see him on stage, it's kind of like damn, like the same guy pretty much. But that's because I've been around him so much. And not that I took his per se stage show, but it was kind of like we was like, and people used to always compare and say, man, you and Cube sound just alike. You and Cube sound just alike. Well, that's when I first signed to Def Jam. So it was always kind of like embedded in here. And so I think I kind of took that part from him.
Right, because listening to your music, you do have a very distinct West Coast sound, and I would have said my comparison when I compared you to anybody, that first album was very Tupacalypse Now, so like
I've heard that.
Yeah, the first voice, like the first thing that came into my mind was like, yo, he sounds like Pac. And then as I'm listening more, it's like, no, it's more distinct. I could pick you from Pac, right? Like that kind of thing. But it's like, it was that first track was the delivery was very early Pac.
Right.
And it's kind of like you can almost hear the influence there. And then again, as it goes on, like you hear it's a very distinct sound but you do have like that kind of, especially like that 90s West Coast sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It brought me back. Like it really did. Like listening to it, it's like, oh, this is bringing me back to like Dog Pound days.
Right.
Because like immediately my reaction was I can hear him doing tracks with Dog Pound.
Yeah.
And just you like, and especially like when you say that, you work with Cube and everything like that, that's very evident, especially as your music goes on, as you progress. You can hear not just influence, but just kind of like, it's you tend to start sounding like the people that you stay that you stick around with. Like Wu-Tang sounds like Wu-Tang when people were like Redman sounds very Wu-Tang because he hangs around Wu-Tang a lot, right? But it's like you hear that very West Coast sound in your music.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. And like I said, I've always been compared to Pac, Scarface, and Cube. Those were the three people that, you know, everybody would say, you know, Shug, you sound just like those guys. And I would say, no, I'm better than those guys. You know, those guys sound like me. So that's what I
right. Like, I can hear Scarface too. I can hear the delivery,
Mm-hmm.
being very Scarface as well.
Yeah.
Again, like it's you, right? It's not like
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, say that, like, you know, it's like who I could compare you to for like, especially for the listeners out there.
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that's what I used to hear that all the time on Def Jam. And because I used to joke around with Cube all the time, like, man, you know, I'm better than you. And both of our last name is Jackson.
Right.
So, you know, and so we used to always, you know, joke around with all that stuff. But all them guys are great, man. All those guys are great and legendary MCs, man. So, you know, and to me, it's an honor for people to say I sound like those guys. So, you know, it's an honor to me. So,
absolutely, man. So you were the first, or you were signed to Def Jam as one of the first West Coast artists on the label. Who's most at the time, Def Jam was known mostly for East Coast acts.
East Coast, right?
Yeah. So, like, what was the feeling like in that moment, knowing that you were signing to such a legendary label?
Man, it was crazy, man, because and I always tell the story. I used to dream about being on Def Jam, right? LL was my favorite artist back then,
right?
And then, you know, here I get signed to Def Jam, and then when Russell flies me to New York, the person they have meet me at the door is LL Cool J.
Oh, no shit!
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know, so it was like, man, I dreamt all of this. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I dreamt all. So it was amazing, man, because back then everybody wanted to be on Def Jam. You know, so to be the first West Coast act, and not only that, I wasn't from California, I'm from Arizona. Right. So to be the first and to be the first rap artist out of Arizona to sign a major record deal was a big deal. So, you know, it was all like really a dream come true, man.
What was your impression of Russell Simmons?
Cool guy, man. He was a cool guy. Cool, loud, talk real fast.
Right.
You know, if you listen too slow, you're gonna miss everything he say. You know.
Yeah. If you ever watch
Russell talks fast, man. So, but cool guy, man. And back then, man, he was. You could tell this dude was hip. He was hip hop. Russell was hip hop. You know what I mean? He was hip hop. It was anything mentioned with hip hop, you had to put Russell in it. You know what I mean? Then he came out with Fat Farm, and matter of fact, when I was the first person to get any Fat Farm gear.
Oh, that's ill.
Oh,
the first when he was opening, before they opened up the store, he sent me down there, told them to give me I think it was $500 worth of clothes at that time, and I was the first one to get the Fat Farm stuff. So that was cool. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of first things, man. So
it's funny. Yeah. There's an infamous within my circle of friends. There's an infamous picture of me in high school with an oversized Fat Farm shirt on.
All right.
I have to see that now.
Posted in my group chat.
All right.
But yeah, man, and I know what you say when you say Russell was hip hop, because I mean, like, you know, the dude embodied the elements. You know what I mean? He embodied all the elements of hip hop. You know, and it was just kind of like, you know, he really did become synonymous with hip hop between him and Run DMC.
Right.
Yeah. Huge, big deal.
Yeah.
So what was a major delight to me in your lyricism was the positive message that the majority of your music conveys, because that's not always something that you get, right? You know, a lot of cautionary tales, a lot of honesty in your beliefs in your life. In a world that centers around who is the most gangster or who's the biggest hustler, what made you want to move in a direction of positivity?
Realizing that there's so much negativity in this world, man, that I don't need to be a part of that. You know what I mean? So, and not only that, you can talk something into existence, right? So the more you talk about something, the likelihood of it happening. So I choose to talk about positive stuff now. And yeah, I talk about the streets, but if you listen to my songs, even the ones I'm talking about, this, the streets, and there's a beginning, there's a middle where I'm kind of glamorizing it, and at the end, there's a consequence for everything you do, right? So, I think that's the positive in it because you can't keep on keeping on and thinking you're just gonna get away with whatever it is you out there doing, right?
Mhm.
So there's gonna be an ending to it. So
Right.
I like to talk about the beginning, the middle, and the ending. And then the reason why I kind of start going more positive is because first of all, I'm not afraid of it. A lot of rappers walk around here with this image. And whenever somebody asks me what my image is, I say human.
I like that.
Because I laugh, I cry, and I get sad just like anybody else. Or I get mad just like anybody else. So I'm human. So if I could be human outside of the record, why can't I be human inside of the record?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I chose to start going that route, man. And even if you listen, like I said, my first album, even though it was a little more angry, but if you really listen to the messages in there, like I have a song called 86 to Madness, and it's talking about what goes on inside the brain of a maniac, right? All this
Mhm.
pressure.
Yeah.
And what makes somebody want to just go out and kill somebody. And the hook is saying, get the funk out my face, get the funk out my face, which meaning get the madness out of here. You know what I mean? So because everybody wants to say, oh, that dude or that woman is crazy,
Mhm.
but nobody wants to ask them what made you go crazy? What made you start feeling like this? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
because nobody's born bad. Something had to happen along the way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and if people, choose to sit down and listen to somebody's story, because everybody that's angry really just wants somebody to listen to them. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if they have nobody to listen to them, they're just going to continue to be angry, and then it's going to come out in anger. And so that's why I choose. And I know I have a huge, fan base. So if I can be, a little bit on the positive side, hopefully they'll say, well, dang, why can't I be on the positive side? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because again, that was one of the things that that shone through in that
Mhm.
first album was, there's an aspect of like, if you listen closely, you'll hear like, you mentioned like I ain't a gangster. I don't I
Right,
don't I don't say gangster things because I'm not a gangster. I don't live that life. And
right,
it's like, okay, I 100% respect that in a time where dudes were trying to be gangster and dudes were trying to be like kind of how you said, they were manifesting it and then it became a thing, you know,
right,
and I respected that you went out of your way to do it that way in the music. And then on top of that, um, like you're saying, storytelling, right? Going from something that was, a very relatable story and coming out with a positive message.
mhm,
And again, that was something at the time, especially that just did not. It wasn't something that people did. You know what I mean? Like
right,
and like since then, there's so many artists that you can that I can like name off that have gone to obscurity because they want to put a positive message out, and the labels like
right,
you don't want that.
right, right. And the older you get, the more you see, the more you start to really know that you're not Superman or you're not Superwoman, right?
Mhm.
So, and we're all one incident from being either 6 feet deep or sitting behind bars for the rest of our life.
Right.
So, trouble is easy to get into, but hard to get out of. And that the thing about like a lot of people, as far as this gangster thing, right? People think because the kind of clothes you put on, the baggier your pants are, the baggier your shirt is, that makes you gangster.
Right.
That don't make you gangster. That just means you got some pants that's too damn big. You need a belt and you need a smaller shirt. That's what that means.
Mhm.
So gangster is what you do at home, how you take care of your family, how you conduct your business. You know
Right.
what I mean? How you treat other people. You know what I mean? That's gangster to me. You know what I mean? Because anybody can be tough when they have to be tough. Now, and also anybody can walk around here with a mean look on their face and be soft as a marshmallow.
Yep.
So that doesn't make you gangster, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So, and you know, and on the flip side, I get it. You know, the people that's out there in the streets and gotta watch over their back and gotta in their mind gotta feel like they gotta go out and do all these things. Man, I get it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's up to that individual to really sit down and say, man, is it worth it? You know, is it worth somebody pouring out a little liquor if something happened to me? And then that, first of all, the liquor gonna dry up. The next day, he drinking another bottle. He ain't pouring out no more liquor. He's drinking another bottle of liquor, but he ain't pouring nothing out, right? So that's how fast people forget. So you dead and gone, their life is moving on, but you was gangster for a neighborhood you don't even own nothing in. You don't even own a house in the neighborhood.
Right.
You don't even own a stop sign, a yield sign. You don't own nothing. But you're willing to put your life on the line for this neighborhood that somebody can come by and evict you out the house. You know what I mean? Police can come and take you out the neighborhood. For what? You know what I mean? So that's why I started trying to, you know, really not so to speak, get away from that. Music is still street. Street's gonna be here when all of us are dead and gone.
Right.
But I like to tell the story, and like I said, there's always an ending. And the ending of any gangster's life, if you're really out there and you're about that, 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be very good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I choose to be on the good end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And again, I highly respect that, man.
I appreciate it.
So something I always wonder, because I'm not musically inclined in the least bit. Phil can tell you that, but I always like to hear what people's process is. So what's your process, Shug, for like writing, you know, one of your songs, and you know, when are you happy with it enough to record it?
Well, first of all, like I can be thinking about something all day, and then I'll just start writing, right? And then it may go into what I seen somebody else go through, or I know somebody else is going through. So I start to kind of write it in that aspect. That way the song kind of relates to everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm telling everybody's story, not just mine. It may sound like it's mine, but there are people that will listen to the song and say, hey, I went through that. Or I know somebody that went through that. So that's kind of how you make it to where it fits everybody. And then what was the second part of that question?
So how many times you go through a song while making it and writing it and mixing and producing it to get to that state of like, all right, this is exactly where I want it to be?
If I can, sometimes I'll go record a song and then I'll sit in the room and I'll just listen to it over and over with my eyes closed. And if I can't picture that song in my head, then I get rid of it, or I rewrite it, and then I go back and record it. If I can picture that song, then that's a song that I'm keeping. You know, I got to be able to visualize it, because if I can't visualize it, the audience ain't gonna feel it.
Right. Yeah.
So it got to be something that's gonna kind of touch my heart a little bit, in whether it's making me laugh, whether it's making me cry, whether it's making me mad, whatever. It's gonna get some kind of reaction out of it, and I got to see it. And if I don't get those emotions, one of those emotions out of it, I get rid of the song.
Yeah, I can tell you again, when I used to write, the amount of times that I would rewrite a song because I didn't like a punchline, or because I didn't like the way that a line went, or something like that. Like just rewriting verses.
Yeah.
You know, until I had like the perfect 16.
Right. Yeah, that's the way to do it. But sometimes, you know, you can't overthink, right? You can overthink something, because less is more. Right. Sometimes. And sometimes what we think, because as artists, you always think, man, this ain't gonna be that good. You know what I mean?
Right.
But somebody else here and be like, man, that was dope. You know what I mean? You're like, really? What? So, and most big songs that you hear, some of the artists, their biggest songs are songs you'll hear artists say, man, I really didn't like that song at first.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's because whatever, for whatever reasons, the songs we like the most are the ones, okay, they're steady. But those ones that you really don't think nobody's going to like, those are the ones everybody likes.
Yep.
Because people can relate to it, though.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's one thing I've learned to do is the ones I'm like, you know, I keep that song and I put it out anyway. And it turns out to be one of my best songs. You know what I mean? So, but before you couldn't tell me that, you know what I mean? If I didn't like it, but even that song though, the one I still got to be able to close my eyes and visualize and see it.
Right.
You know, even though I'm not feeling it as much as, you know, these songs over here, I still got to be able to visualize it.
Right. I mean, we're always our worst critics, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, and I think it's interesting because, you know, I used to write scripts back in the day, and I got back into it, like short scripts and indie horror stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, when do I stop this story? Where do you know, you talk about like you create essentially the 3-act story in your narrative, then you create your song. You're just like, okay, I have to be done with this. My narrative is laid out for me.
Right.
So.
Right.
It's just interesting to hear other people's creative processes, just because I have way I do it for writing for movies and stuff. Okay. And like I said, I tried songs way back in the day, never good at it.
Right.
So
that cliche of the artist sitting in a room with a guitar and just strumming over for like, you know, 2 days on end. That's a real thing.
It's whatever works, man. Whatever works for you, for that artist. You know what I mean? I tell everybody, man, just make sure it's from the heart. Make sure it's from something you can feel.
Right.
If you can't feel it,
nobody else is going to.
Nope. I think we Shug you there. If you're there, I can't hear or see you.
Yeah, I think we may have lost Shug. All right. Well, we will.
Yeah.
We will keep him here. I wonder if his phone died.
It's possible. But yeah, like I said, it's just like I said, I like to hear other people's creative process. Like, you know, while we come back, I like metal and punk music, right? So I tried doing punk music back in high school.
And I mean, it's the same process. It really is a process. To do that. Like, I mean, again, I just made the example of sitting around with the guitar, like especially in rock genres, like that's especially true. Is sitting around trying to figure out the right riff, or if you play lead, it's even more of a pain in the ass because you're sitting there trying to write everything, you know.
Oh yeah, I said I somewhere there's a notebook with like 5 songs in there. Some I don't know where anymore, but I'm sure it's somewhere.
There are if you look through the deepest recesses of the internet, you will find songs where Phil used to be a rapper.
Did you want to hit him up, see if he's able to get back in?
Yeah, let me.
Oh, nice. Sandra also wrote punk in high school. Hell yeah, man!
I know. She used to be a punk guitarist. Because her and Jeff played. They played punk. That's how I got my guitar. Was from Jeff.
Oh,
yeah, he gave me one of his guitars.
I pick one up like every 15 years. So that's when I try it again. I'm actually about due for it. So, oh man. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, he's just the creative process. I'm sure everyone talks about that, and hopefully he comes back because I got lots more questions about his process for sure.
Yeah, and I still have like a lot more questions for him too.
Yeah. Play Phil's rap is what chat is saying.
Play my rap? I have it if you guys want to hear it. If you guys really want to hear it.
I do. But hit up Shug first. Make sure we can get him back on.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to find his number.
Yeah, maybe his PC went to sleep.
There it is. I got his number right here. All right.
All right. Yeah, they're all saying let's hear it just because.
Oh God,
they love you, Phil. I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear it. Oh, the kids play drums. Yeah, I am so musically not talented. It's amazing.
So I'm gonna drop this back here for the moment. I'm going to stop the build for a second. I will switch my camera over. So if you guys really want to hear this, I've got it.
Oh yeah.
Let me switch this over here. I'm gonna switch cameras over because I'm gonna have to turn the speaker up, the whole thing up here.
Yeah, see, they're chanting for you, Phil.
Okay, he just texted me. Hold on. Oh, he said he can see us, but he can't hear anything.
Oh. Yeah,
Doesn't-
have him rejoin StreamYard. That actually happened last night to me in StreamYard. I wonder if there's some update that's mucking around in StreamYard. Said wants to know what your rapper name was.
Anonymous. That's kind of where the DJ Anonymous came from. Join. Oh, Shug's back. Yep,
Okay.
I can see.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. But it just went black on me.
Yeah, same thing on us. It just went black, and we're like, "Oh, okay, we lost Shug."
Yeah. But
Okay.
So when you're writing your song process, do you have to have it silent? Do you have anything playing for just in the background so you don't just have the silence, or you just kind of just hone in when you're writing?
nah, it got to be silent. It got to be silent. I got to be able to concentrate. I got to be able to, like I said, I got to because when I'm a heavy thinker, so when I write, man, I like to dive into that pen, and it's got to be quiet, you know. And there's times where I may write a verse, and then I get, you know, I'll get up and go sit down and watch TV for a little while, then I come back to it. And then there's times where I sit down and I just write a song and finish the whole song in 30 minutes or so. So
I get that. I would again, like, because my whole thing was all about lyricism anyway. So like I would read a bar and then go back, and then read a bar and go back. Like my writing process was just meticulously going over and making sure that every syllable worked exactly the way I wanted it to. So because like one of my influences when I started getting into hip hop more, like when I wanted to be a rapper at one point, was like Royce the 5'9". Right, because I've always loved his delivery, and I love the way he will take a bar and or he'll take a line and put it across two bars, and it still flows even though it's not right.
Right.
Makes it right because the way that he writes it, and that's a poetry thing, you know. I've always respected that kind of thing. Again, going into your music and respecting the poetic nature of the way that you write your music. And like that's where I've always respected things or that's where I gravitate more towards the music, is when people focus more, or artists focuses more on the way that they write their words and the story that they're telling.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. There is definitely an art to it, should I say. You know, I listen to some artists and it seemed like, you know, they're just freestyling, you know, and a lot of them do, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you can tell they're freestyling. And then I listen to other artists and you can tell they really sat down and thought that thing out and they wrote it, you know what I mean? And those are the songs that you can feel, you know what I mean? You feel something in it.
Absolutely.
So just me as an artist, I can tell when somebody just, you know, came off the top of the head, because really a lot of times it ain't making no sense.
Right.
And it just has no substance to it. So But yeah, I'm definitely a writer, man. I write everything. So.
Yeah. So when did the bug really hit you? Were you like sitting there in like third grade writing your own lyrics at that point in time as well?
No, actually, it happened probably around the sixth grade, man. There was this rap group in my hometown, and they were kind of big around the city, and they were doing all these parties and all these. It was the Juneteenth out here, and they would perform every year at the Juneteenth. And I remember one night they were actually performing at the skating ring out here, and the girls were going crazy. So my older brother was standing right next to me, and I tapped him, and I was like, man, I can do that. You know what I mean? I can be better than that. That's exactly what I told him. So the very next day, I went home, and the first song I ever wrote, man, was called Peanut Butter and Jelly. Right? It's called Peanut Butter and Jelly. But I went to school, man, and I would sing that song around the school, and then I had other people singing about peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean? So that's how I got into it. And then I got into a rap group. There was me and a couple other guys, and it was two rappers and one guy beatboxed. And
oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and we started getting real good at it, but then I started noticing like I was way more serious about it than they were. You know what I mean? And then so we ended up splitting up. Still stayed friends, but we kind of split up, and I just stayed serious about it. What made me knew that I was born for this was in high school. When I got to high school, we had a talent show, and me and my older brother we did Run DMC, and we had the little chains with the the Mercedes emblem on them and all that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And we did my Adidas. So after we performed, there was this girl who was performing next, and she needed a guy to sing to. And there was guys all over the place. But she came and asked me would I get on stage with her so she can do her part to me. And I had a mic. I knew the song she was doing when I found out what song it was. So I ended up doing the male part of that song. And that's when I kind of knew I was like born to be on stage, man, and born to kind of be in this rap game. And not only that,
you knew you wanted to be a performer.
Yeah, I knew that. No, I knew I was born to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not just be a performer. I knew that this was my calling. People used to say, man, your voice, man, you got a hell of a voice. This is way back in those days, and I didn't pay attention to the way my voice sounded and all that stuff. But first, I wasn't nervous when I got on stage. It was like this is my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I own this stage. That's how I really felt. I'd go to a house party and I was like, man, I own this microphone. And then every artist around town, every time they said a rap, they was talking about me and they rap, like this is me. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I must be born for this. So I got more and more serious about it. And then I had a friend that promoted concerts, and he would put me on to open up all the concerts in this little region out here. And so I got so good at it that I became better than, a lot of times I was better than the people that they actually came to see.
Right. Better than the headliner.
Better than the headliner. So, and then in 1991, I had a show with DJ Quick.
Nice.
Yeah, and his manager at the time saw me and asked me if I had a demo tape. I did. And myself and a couple other good friends of mine, a good friend of mine at the time named Kevin, he flew this guy out here named Young D, who did some producing for MC Ren and all them guys back in the day. He flew out to Tucson. We went to my house, did like a 6-song demo, gave it to Greedy Greg. He took it to he took it to New York. And 2 weeks later, I got a call that Def Jam wanted to sign me. So but it just kind of happened that fast like that. So.
Was that with that quickness? Was it just surreal for you at all?
Yeah. Because I didn't expect to get a call from Def Jam. First of all, I thought it would be, Interscope or somebody like that, Priority Records, or somebody that like NWA was on or Cube was on. Cube was on Priority.
Like
I thought it was gonna be a label like that.
Yeah.
But then when I got a call that Def Jam was, so I'm like, Def Jam, you know what I mean? Like, and I remember asking the question, like, are there any West Coast acts on Def Jam? But I knew I wanted to be on Def Jam because that was one, like, everybody wanted to be on Def Jam. So it was like, damn, I was like, damn, they want me, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how that happened, man. So
because that's a big deal
it was,
especially at the time. Like Def Jam was like God at the time,
Exactly.
And kind of like staying on in that vein of things, like that first album that you had got 4 mics by The Source, which I know a lot of people now are not may not be familiar with The Source, but like back in the 90s and the early 2000s, that was the biggest thing you could get done, was be mentioned in The Source.
Be mentioned in The Source, right,
let alone getting 4 mics and getting the hype, right? So I mean, like that's an above average work according to the Source. How did that feel, man? Like, how did it feel to have something like The Source regard your album that hype?
Oh, it was amazing, man. I never forget. I sat on my couch and I was actually reading that article, and I was sitting on my couch at the house, and I gotta be totally honest, man. I start crying, like, because it was a hell of an accomplishment for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, like you said, like Source Magazine, and then I'm like, first, Def Jam, and then now The Source. It was like everything was starting to like kind of make sense to me. You know what I mean? Because it still hadn't sunk in yet. But to see that, and the thing, not only that, Def Jam never really promoted that album. They never really promoted the album. I signed to Def Jam in 91. The record was supposed to be out in 92. The record didn't come out till 96. So, and the reason why it didn't come out, because I was opening up magazines, and the magazines, they were saying I was from Los Angeles. So yeah, and I remember calling the publicist like, what is this? That I'm from Los Angeles. So, and they were like, well, we want you to say you from Los Angeles. No, I don't fake for nobody. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Y'all knew where I was from when you signed me. But the thing was, back then there was no artist from Arizona but me. So, and LA and California had all this steam. So they wanted to get me into all of that. That's the marketing tool, Los Angeles. What I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of held up the album, but I was so popular across the country already. By the time the record came out, the record started flying anyway. So, and then later on, the album actually went platinum. So had they promoted that record back then, and everybody said this way back then, people in the industry said this back then, that album could have been triple platinum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
they made a big mistake.
Yeah. So, and then, people think, Dr. Dre, when they heard Dr. Dre's Chronic album, right? He had ladies, people on there singing, "Let Me Ride," So when I was recording my album, I got my manager at the time got into it with my A&R girl, because we had a song with a female singing on the song. But back then, nobody was singing on a rap song.
Right.
So they was like, Shug, why you got somebody singing on the song? And I was like, first of all, I'm Shug. I ain't nobody else. You know what I mean? We doing something different here. So that we got into all of that. Dr. Dre comes with the Chronic, got people singing on it. Now Def Jam is like, damn, Shug had something. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all.
You were ahead of the time.
Exactly. So a lot of things I did was doing, and believe me, I was around Dre. All them guys heard my album back then. They heard it before it even came out. Right. They heard the little demo tapes and all that stuff floating around LA. So You know, now Def Jam wanted to get on the horse, but at that time I was really kind of pissed off. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I went through all of that stuff, man, and it was a learning lesson. You know, in some kind of way too. I kind of really think God had his hands on that and really didn't let me blow up back then, because I probably would have went crazy. You know, as a youngster, not knowing how to handle that stuff. You know what I mean? Back then. So I really think, you know, now is my time. So I can't be mad at it.
I 100% understand that, man. Get that whole thing. So as of late, and kind of like we're transitioning into this, like you've been making a lot more independent music. Do you feel like it's a lot more freeing working and doing your own indie music, because you don't have like any like people over you kind of telling you what you should or shouldn't do? Or you know, did you feel like it was easier on a major label?
It's easier being independent because, like you said, you don't have people over you. You have your freedom to pretty much do what you want, what you feel. It's easier as far as the business, the marketing, all of that stuff on a major. You know, the glitz and the glamour, should I say? But as far as the creative part of it, it's easier being an independent artist because it's your show. You know what I mean? You talk about what you want to talk about. You ain't got nobody saying, "Oh no, you shouldn't talk about that," or, you know, we ain't gonna put that record out, and you know, and all that stuff. So, or trying to make you into what they visualize you to be. You know, this image thing that they see you being, not necessarily what you see you being. You know what I mean? So it's easier in that aspect of it, being independent.
I can see that because essentially you are a product of their company, and they're trying to make you fit into their mold instead of you just being you.
Right.
Yeah. Now, do you think it's easier today with stuff like Spotify and YouTube Music to put stuff out instead of having your demo tracks and tapes and all that stuff than you did in the 90s?
Yeah, it's definitely easier because you got the ability to upload your own music to these platforms, right? So it's definitely easier that way. It's harder though to get the music out to the masses, should I say, and be heard. You know what I mean? Because there's thousands and thousands of artists on Spotify, on these platforms. So now everybody's in the music, you know what I mean? In the music industry. So it's a lot different than back then when, you know, you really had to be good to, you know, well, I wouldn't say good, because there was a lot of artists that wasn't good and they got signed, but somebody had to hear you, you know what I mean? For you to be signed. So, and then to be able, you know, to put millions of dollars behind you, you know, so you had to have something. Nowadays, yeah, you can go record something and go put it up on the stuff yourself, or, you know, on the platforms yourself. Doesn't mean everybody's going to hear it, but it's up there. So you know,
yeah, and that way you're not getting shelved like the way Atlantic did Saigon.
Right, and that happens a lot, man. So it still happens to this day. Artists, are getting signed and getting shelved. So. Yeah.
Now, I also have to ask, as an artist, do you find that, just a general question about like Spotify and stream stuff like that, do you feel like we lost the ability to go to a place and pick up an album, a record, or a tape that we don't get translated now in today's world?
Yeah, man. I think that really hurt music, to be honest with you. The reason why I say that is because back then you had to love the artist you went to go buy, right? You had to love that music, or at least like it a whole lot. And that was the fun part about going out and buying an album, buying a CD or whatever. So now you scroll through stuff. Oh, punch this, and nobody listens to albums no more. It's all single driven. So you can have an album and people only like, maybe if they only like one song on that album, that's the only song they're gonna listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and when versus the album, even if one song got them to buy the album, they're going to start listening to the other stuff and then say, hey, this ain't bad either, you know, and then that little down effect. So you don't have that anymore, man. You don't have that anymore. So it's good and it's bad to me at the same time. But I do believe, you know, wax and all that stuff is gonna make a comeback. You know, so you already see it starting to come back.
Yeah, wax coming back. People are definitely buying albums on wax again right now.
Yeah, it's gonna start coming back. So, and who knows? You might start seeing CDs again. Who knows?
I think they said last year the number one sold CD was like Beethoven or something like that, or it might be
wow.
Right. And I think Beyonce's new album was like the number one sold CD or something like that. Like people actually went out and bought the CD.
Bought the CD? Yeah. So you know, you might start seeing that come back. So, but it's also up to us artists to make good music that people want to go buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you have a lot of artists nowadays, they are just a one shot pony, you know what I mean? So they got one good song and then the other songs sound just like that song.
Well, and I hate to say it, but like Young Jock specifically. Oh no, it wasn't Young Jock. My bad. Who's the kid that did Superman?
Yeah, Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Soldier Boy specifically in an interview said something about he made a hit with Superman and didn't care to do another one because he made his millions. And that means that he got into the industry to make money, not to be an artist.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what made me sad and made me want to start bowing out, was that the only way that you can become famous or become respected as far as like where the industry was going was to make this bubblegum music. And I was like, I can't do that.
Right. And that's the kind of stuff that hurt music, because you have a lot of artists that think like that, because if they wasn't, they wouldn't be throwing around thousands of dollars in the music videos. And
yeah, that's 90% of SoundCloud rappers right now.
Exactly. So it's not about the music anymore. It's about the look at me, look what I got, you know, all that type of stuff. Look what girl is on my arm, you know, all that type of stuff. It's not about the music anymore. So, and that's what I say. So it's music has lost its substance. Even R&B, even rock and roll, everything. It's lost its substance.
They don't sing about love no more.
It's not. Yeah, but well, the problem is everybody's afraid to say they love. They're afraid to say the word love because the quote unquote don't want to be soft. Right. So if I say I love you, then I'm gonna be considered soft. You know what I mean? That's the way that these artists look at it now.
Right.
And instead of you know, nowadays these artists want to be the man, be the whatever. They don't. It's not the music. It has nothing to do with the music. It's I'm the man. You know what I mean? Or I'm the woman. You know that got this and got that. So. And to each his own, you know what I mean? No knock to anybody. To each his own.
It's, when it comes down to it, it's like I respect you for your hustle, right? I respect what you're doing and you know, make your money. Like that, right. At the same time, it's not me.
Right.
It's almost more about the image than the substance.
Right. It's about the image, exactly. And it's steady hurting the music, man. You don't think about it. You can't even go to a nightclub now and hear a slow song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything is so high energy. And then they wonder why people are fighting after the club. Because you got everybody so wound up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And so all this high, if you just keep people right here, they're so wound up. What you expect them to do?
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's the same thing within the music. Back in the day, you know, you had these songs that people talked about love, you know, and that's why your Earth, Winds, and Fires and your LL Cool J's and all these people are still around, because they talk about this stuff. And they make music that people can feel.
Right.
And if you can feel the music, that music's going to last forever.
I used to say I want longevity and respect. I don't care
about
it. Like, money will come with that over time.
Exactly.
You know, like I want to be, I would rather be Outkast than Young Jock. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that makes sense. You know, my favorite genre of music is punk. I listen to guys that have been doing this for 40 years and they're still around. And even in that genre, it's just so different now. And seeing these young kids there. I'm the crotchety old guy now at these shows, but I'm still right there. I'm still in the pit. I'm still enjoying it just because they're the only ones that I think with the music and that and punk that still have the messages that are there.
Yeah. It's sad. You know, it's kind of sad to be honest with you. The way music is right now, to be honest. Like, so it's you can put on something. There's nothing you can put on nowadays. When I say nowadays, I mean like new. And sit there and clean up your house, right? Or sit there and read a book while it's playing softly over in the corner. There's no music like that no more.
Right. Yeah. You listen to older music because it gives you that vibe
exactly.
That you don't get anymore.
Exactly. Because you can relate to it and it's making you feel a certain type of way. You can be in a relaxed mood and put that on and clean your house or go, stand outside and wash your car, whatever case may be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if everything is so high energy and then talking about, how many pills you done took and, how many girls is shaking their rumps and all, it's that stuff is cool for the club. But who wants to sit around their house and listen to that all day?
Yeah, I mean they went the route of it used to be you make a club bangers because like it's like okay, have one club banger on the album and then the rest of the album is something to substance. Right. They turned it around and now it's like maybe if they're good enough, they have one song of substance and the rest of it is all club music.
Right. Because love gonna be here. Like I said about the streets gonna be here when we all dead and gone. Love still gonna be here. So somebody gonna love somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody gonna love somebody. So the thing about it is you can't get too detached and be afraid to say, "Hey, I love you." You know what I mean? Even in the music. You know what I mean? Right. Tell your woman you love her in the music. Even if it's a rap song, you ain't got to make every song like that. And I ain't even saying artists have to make songs like that. I'm saying I choose to make songs like that now. So, and if people gravitate to it, great. They don't, great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nowadays, you got everybody trying to be whoever the hot guy is. That's who their model. That's who they're trying to sound like. Right. So now you have a bunch of artists that sound the same.
Right, and there's no individuality anymore.
There's no originality. And back then, you had to be original. And if you didn't, if you really just deliberately bit somebody's style back then, when you ran across that person, you better be ready to fight.
That was beef, straight up.
It was beef. Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh man, you over here biting, bro.
Exactly. And that what led to fights. So with artists, so it's totally different thing, man. And kudos to these kids now. Get your money, man, if that's what you're about. But I really believe that the music it's starting to come back around. You know what I mean? You're starting to see a lot of older artists now coming back out with music. Because for a while, a lot of the older artists were afraid to come out with music because everything was this mumble rap, as they call it. Yep. And nobody wanted to. We weren't making none of that crap. And I say crap because you can't really understand what if I can't understand what you're saying, that's crap to me.
Exactly.
No, we don't know your message.
Yeah. It's crap to me. I might like the beat, but I'm more into the words of a song.
And as a producer, like that was one of the things I always used to say was like, when you listen to these new artists, you're not listening to the rapper because the rapper is just repeating the hook over the course of the entire song. Exactly. Or they're just mumbling. You're listening to the producer. You're not listening to the artist at all.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm making. You got a beat and then you got the hook.
Right.
In between that, you have just a bunch of mumbling. And then then the hook. Then go back to a bunch of mumbling. Then the hook. But this is what the ears are dialed into right now. So, but I really, like I said, I really believe it's starting to come back around, especially with Dr. Dre and Snoop about to drop a new album. You know what I mean? LL just dropped a new album. You know, Eminem dropped a lot of artists are starting to come back out. So I really think the tide is about to start shifting again.
Yeah, I think it's because people are starting to realize that, you know, they're just getting tired of this same old. And it's like, you know, I want to listen to somebody who's got substance again. Like, I mean, I've always sat back and listened to Slaughterhouse, right? Because you got a mixture of a bunch of dudes from different parts of the country that are, you know, showing everybody that lyricism still exists.
Right. And it does still exist, you know. So the thing is, and don't get me wrong, you got some of these artists of today are great artists, man, and they do have substance, you know. You know, Kendrick, you know.
Oh yeah.
Great, you know.
Yeah, your Kendrick, your J. Cole's.
Yeah.
You have artists that are out there that are still, you know,
that are great artists, man, and they kind of fit in with the old school stuff. You know what I mean? So, but they even took it to a whole new level.
Especially Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick,
Kendrick,
100%, he brings out that old school West Coast feel.
Man, yeah, Kendrick is a different. That dude's a different animal, man.
Yeah,
he's really a different animal, man. That guy is really blessed, man. And he does Kendrick's things. You know what I mean? What I mean by Kendrick's things, he's not trying to fit in with what's hot. You're gonna get Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's great at that. And that's one thing I really respect about Eminem. Same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get Eminem. You're not gonna get somebody who's trying to sound like whatever's hot today.
Right.
You're gonna get Eminem.
Him and Royce put out a song that was making fun of all the mumble rappers just recently.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I think the tides are well, I think M did that because, you know, you got a lot of these younger artists. They're always trying to say, well, you know, the old school rappers are washed up. You know, that's one thing you hear all the time.
Yeah.
You know, they washed up and all this other stuff. No, we're not washed up. We are clean, but we ain't washed up. And what I mean by clean is that we refreshed pretty set. What I should say. And what they don't understand is when you can travel on a catalog, because you got multiple songs, multiple albums, and you've been around 30 plus years and you still traveling and you still people in demand when it comes to concerts, people still want to see you. That's something great, you know what I mean?
Right.
Now, how many of these artists 5-10 years down the line is going to be able to say they can travel or have a catalog to travel like that? Not very many.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Not very many.
Yeah.
So and you know, they're gonna make their millions. They're gonna make their millions. Kudos to them. But 5-10 years from now, nobody's gonna want to hear you. And that's sad because I do think a lot of those guys and those women have talent, but I think they're just so caught up in wanting to sound like whatever's hot at the moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? And once they kind of snap out of that, man, you could probably see some that you know are groundbreaking, should I say, type of thing. So hopefully that happens, man. Maybe I'm wishful thinking, man, but hopefully that happens.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start getting into some wrap up questions just because we're running on time right now. But I mean, I definitely want to continue this conversation at some point if you want to come back to the show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this conversation's been too good, and we didn't even get to all the questions that we wanted to ask. But
right.
So I'm gonna start jumping into the wrap up questions here, man. So I'm gonna ask you the hardest question you've ever been asked in your life. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah. All
right, man. What is your favorite kind of taco?
Favorite kind of taco?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, ground beef taco. I'm gonna keep it clean. Ground beef taco. My mama might be watching this. Ground beef taco, man.
You wouldn't be the first person to say what was on your mind, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it clean.
What's some advice you might have for somebody trying to get into the music industry, man?
Man, be you. Never accept the word no when it comes to you're not good enough or you can't make it. Just tuck your ears back, man, and keep moving forward, man. Don't never take a step backward. Keep moving forward.
Oh man, I respect that 100%.
Yeah.
Oh man,
did you see the question?
I did see the question. That's why I'm laughing right now. I almost don't want to ask this.
Go ahead.
Who would win in a rap battle?
Huh?
Vanilla Ice or MC Hammer Daddy?
Who would win?
Who would win in a rap battle? I already know who would, but I mean,
probably Hammer.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
Yeah, Hammer. Yeah.
Early Hammer back in the day.
Yeah, Hammer. Yeah, I think Hammer would win that.
Yeah. Back when he was when he was like a hardcore Oakland rapper.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, man?
Movies, more movies, man.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions I had lined up was noticing that you've been in more movies lately.
Yeah.
So, definitely want to have you come back and talk about this emerging film career that you got going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely, man. But working on an EP that I plan on having out towards the end of the year, and then by the summertime next year, I want to drop a whole album. So working hard on that. So all that stuff lined up, man.
Still, man. Where can everybody follow you and find out more about you if they want to learn more about Shug Jackson and everything that you got going on?
They can follow me on Facebook under Shug Jackson. You can find me on Instagram at Shug Music, TikTok, all the platforms. I'm on everything, man, under Shug Music. So everything is under Shug Music, except Facebook is at Shug Jackson. And Shug is spelled SHUG. So.
Man, and I had another story too. Again, next time we have you on, because I gotta have you tell the story about where you got the name Shug from.
All right, gotcha. and so that the audience will know, I was Shug before Shug Knight. So
right,
yeah, before anybody knew who Shug Knight was, I was Shug. So yeah, so that people are always thinking that it was the other way around. No, it was Shug. Nobody heard about Shug until '92. I was on Def Jam in '91. I mean, actually, they didn't hear about Shug until '93. So I was Shug on Def Jam in '91. So
that's right. Like I said, I know the story because I've done my research, right? But I definitely want to have you tell that story, man. So it just means we got to have you back on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Well, Shug, it's been a amazing, great pleasure having you on the show, man. We can't wait to have you back on again. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Hey, my honor, man. It was fun, man. I can't wait to be back on there.
Absolutely, man. You have a safe night, man.
Y'all too, man.
All right.
Right.
That was good, man. All right. That was good, man. I enjoy, like, as a hip hop fan, it's a big deal for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you hear me kind of like jumping more into like kind of my experience and things that I've done, but I mean, like, at the same time, like, hearing it from an artist that has so much clout and has done so much work, it's an honor to have him on the show, and it was good. I can't wait to have him back.
Oh yeah, like I said, I love talking to creative people. That's what we do here, right?
Right, exactly.
So it's like I said, I love the idea of it. I love getting into people's minds and their processes.
Right,
it's just a pleasure for me.
Right. I guess I promised the audience that I would play one of my old songs.
You did.
Oh God! All right, you switch. Hopefully everybody is still in the chat here. I brought out everybody's music experience. So there's one specific song that I tend to use as my example.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a song. There was an artist that I was producing for a while. He happens to be one of my really good friends. Right there.
Sandra saying the core group's here, so
the core group is here, and that's good, right? Yeah. So, looking in the chat, Carter Game in the chat here. Shout out to Carter Game in the Instagram chat. So yeah, this is a flashback to an older version of myself. Back when I was
man, if you had a future version of yourself, that'd be more impressive.
I know, right? So the song's called "Speak Your Mind," and the main artist on here is my man Royal Clutch. But I was featured on it. It's not my beat, so just so we throw this out there, guys. This was it was meant for a mixtape, so it's another artist's beat. So not one that I made, which was when we did albums, what we did. But this song in particular was just he wanted me to feature because I really liked the beat when I was tracking it in the studio, and he was like, write a verse. So I wrote this. I wrote these 16 bars in the studio right before I recorded it. So
okay.
You're anonymous.
What's good, man?
Yo, when's the last time you jumped in the booth, my nigga?
It's been a minute.
Yo, speak your mind. I got you.
My girl asked me how I conjugate lines. I told her my mind can only process and rhyme. My only ally's time. Hip hop takes me to another cloud like nine. When my senses ruled by emotion, the rest of me is blind. Thoughts of metaphors and sweet dreams and similes. Wounds to my arms, fluidly crawling I bleed. Record skips a beat, heart pumps through my chest. Feel the rhythm in my feet. Piece the dealer, I'm blessed. The rest, a fantastic voyage to the end of my hole. While watch my thoughts progress and my visions get old. My voice speaks out. It says for the youth to be bold, cause the knowledge is worth more than the jewels and the gold. Won't get into my cards, but please believe I won't fold. Living out my fantasies, reality is still cold. Journey into my venture to the unknown. The devil's home, God's light showing through to my soul. Speak your mind.
The sun's rising on my ghetto estate. Feeling warmth on my face starts my mental escape. Put the wind to my back while lighting up haze. Remove the brush from my pocket, keep creating some waves. Romantic strokes when my pen meets the pad. More punch, drunk love with instrumentals that slap. As the mic grabs my voice, JR masters the track. The Love Jones is complete, the formulation is cracked. Calm, rebellious, abstract, courageous. The K is, we'll just save that for the haters. You wanna be famous, just continue with your hate and cross that line, get me pissed. I hope you make the papers, the business is major. Come and have a seat for Royal Soul Food. All my verses are catered by a 6-foot black male, Bronx, New York native. The presence like a manager, nothing like a waiter. Usually, my mind never sleeps, always beefing with my heart like thugs and police. Fuck a L, recline the chair, put my conscience at ease. Check my email, Dave sent another beat so I could bomb everything like a Banksy disease. Nigga, please, fucking with me, don't get your hopes up. RC stands for rockin' the crowd, or I could choke you with the cord till you learn, shut the fuck up. Game's up, tough luck on such whacking your lines. And even with improvement, you couldn't bag my old slut. Bronx is the borough, New York is the state where I formulated schemes to keep dinner on my plate. Another 5-star G who had a date with fate, but stood her up. I'm more precious alive than slain. Nigga, here's the game. You get in where you fit in. You get out what you put in. Be aware of your movements. Put in too much time, then time is what you get. Put in too much work, now you're building up your rep. If your ego grows big, start protecting your neck. True GRC, bless the mic and respect. Peace.
And there you go.
DeLong wants to know what year is this? It's 2024 right now.
Yeah, no, he's saying what year.
I know.
That would have been 2009, maybe 2008, 2009.
So just like a couple years ago, right? Because the 90s was only like 10 years ago.
Right. And I mean, like, this is one of my beats, right? Obviously, it's a Bands of Oil sample, James Brown, but this is
But it would be nothing without a woman on
All right, I'm gonna show you guys one more, and it's just because I know Graveyard is gonna appreciate this sample. Lost Boy sample.
Yes.
So this actually is me playing a bass line in the background of this.
Is it?
Right here.
Come to your brother. Little sister. Come to your brother.
Freestyle. Not a skill I have anymore.
Little sister. Come to your brother. Little sister. Come to your brother.
Godfather sample. My buddy came into the studio with a drum pad,
Yeah.
and that's how I did this one.
Oh. Okay, graveyard.
One more. Somebody brought a Wurlitzer into the studio, and I came up with this.
Oh.
And then at the end, when I made this, I was really into Timbaland.
Yeah.
And Timbaland has a tendency to switch up the beat completely at the very end with the same sample. So I did the same thing. This is like basically, I had always wanted to do this. I would always want to play something crazy and then sample my own thing that I played. And that's what I did.
You should get a hurdy-gurdy.
Now I'll check this out. At the end, right here. Whole thing switches up. All right. Well, there you guys go. This is listening to music from my past life. And we're not going to get shut down for any of it because it's all my original music.
Or will we?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a copyright strike against us. Well, let's get into some bracket here because we've got a lot of bracket to finish up.
We have a lot of bracket to finish up. Almost like we chose the Marvelous Summer of Marvel for the 85 year anniversary. You know,
I know.
All right, so we are still in the Marvel villains bracket with our who you think is the best villain and most interesting villain. So first up, gotta love RNGesus, Nimrod versus Bastion.
So Bastion versus himself, basically.
A newer version of himself, yeah. Oh, sorry, older version of himself. Yeah.
Right.
So who wins, the OG or the new model?
As cool as Nimrod is, Nimrod was kind of more of a of just like a kind of generic robot. Whereas Bastion kind of was like more of a free thinker. I think Bastion could outthink Nimrod.
Yeah.
Therefore, my vote is for Bastion.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely fair. I don't think if they actually have ever defeated Nimrod, though.
True.
They've defeated Bastion. They've never defeated Nimrod that I can recall, which is impressive.
It is. Just Nimrod in general, and when it comes to like future Sentinels, is a very impressive character to begin with. They're both impressive characters because like Bastion was, again, considering that he was like a what's the word I'm trying to say? Like they're all Sentinels. Like all of them are just like different versions of Sentinels.
Yeah, but his is the most human side, arguably making him the most dangerous.
Exactly.
But also easily defeated because he has the human side.
And I've always felt that like his humanity, that whatever level of humanity he has, is kind of a hindrance because Sentinels are supposed to be like cold killing machines, which kind of is what makes Nimrod as capable as he is.
Yeah.
But it is just the level of thinking that he can do is what makes him dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, I think I love Nimrod, but Bastion is just a total badass.
Right.
So I'm going Bastion as well. I mean, both are just absurdly great characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Bastion's the better one. So yeah, I definitely agree. Chat, let us know Nimrod versus Bastion for who you think would win, or is the better villain. So it'd be interesting. I'm going to throw it out there that most of chat that watch X-Men 97 is going to say Bastion.
Yeah. And of course, like we're basing things on the comics because I remember when 97 came out and how excited we were when we saw, oh my God, is that Bastion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is just absurd.
Yeah.
So Nimrod is too, but it's essentially their way of defeating Nimrod is just send them back to the future.
Right. That's the only way you can defeat Nimrod.
Yeah, you don't kill him. He just goes away temporarily.
It's the same thing with like Doomsday in the DC universe, right? Like you can't kill Doomsday, and like the more you defeat Doomsday, the stronger he gets, which is insanely scary for a character. Nimrod is kind of the same way. It's like we can't stop him, so just send him away.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing, and some of these wild ass theories that I had when we were doing Examining 97 was because, especially I called in the time trailer device that Nimrod would take in the original cartoon, right? And they would destroy that, and then he'd get transported back into the future, and that's why I called out when Bishop wasn't wearing his.
Right. We called that out multiple times.
Yeah.
Bishop's not wearing his time device. What the hell is happening right now?
Right. Like he shouldn't be there.
Right. Like how's he still tethered here?
Yeah. Yeah. Sandra saying Bastion. Say, well, I'm saying Nimrod.
But I mean, like, I can't fault him for saying Nimrod because like we just laid out why Nimrod is such a devastating character.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So we'll give chat a couple more minutes on Bastion versus Nimrod, and we'll move on to the next one. The Blob versus Avalanche.
Oh, God. Huh. I mean, okay, so if we're going to go into, like, secondary mutation stuff, the Blob is invulnerable. So it's like...
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of like where my mind is going is like, I don't know, do I want to say Avalanche? But it's like the Blob is invulnerable once you get down to, future versions of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes him kind of like more of a threat. He's kind of a silly character if you like really think about him, but he is kind of like he holds that kind of like unique threat to him.
Yeah. So Sandra's saying the Blob. Right, by the way, right now we are tied between Nimrod and Bastion.
Oh man.
Because we had 3 votes in chat for Nimrod. The Blob is damn near impossible to beat.
Right.
I mean, what? He got hit in the stomach with like energy blast and just gave him gas.
Exactly. He just laughed at it.
Yeah.
Which again, that's what I was saying is like it makes him kind of a threatening character.
Oh yeah. I'm saying Blob. What about you? Going Blob?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Blob. Because again, he is canonically invulnerable. And like I mean, he's one of those Brotherhood characters that kind of flip-flops every now and then.
Yeah. I mean, but he's been there pretty much since the beginning of X-Men, too.
He's one of the original Brotherhood characters.
Yeah. Yeah. So the fact that he's still around and the threat is just a testament to it. So the Blob is moving forward. We'll have to get one last person. Anyone in chat who hasn't voted, Nimrod versus Bastion. We have a tie. So James, if you're out there, say Bastion and we'll move on. All right.
I'm putting in our group chat. Guys.
Yeah. All right. So Blob moves on with that. Dad says Nimrod. Ooh. It'd be interesting to see what our chat says as well. So, all right. Well, while you're waiting for that, William Stryker versus Deathbird.
William Stryker versus Deathbird. So, space alien that is in bird form, or
a guy who has a controlling part of the military enough to subdue Logan enough to put adamantium on the skeleton.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say, or the dude who's responsible for the current version of Wolverine
and Sabretooth too.
Yes. Well, I guess responsible. The guy who's responsible for the Weapon X program.
Yes.
That like created so many of our favorite characters,
like Omega Red.
Yes. Forget that Omega Red was part of next program.
So a space bird versus a guy who is able to create some of the most powerful beings out there.
Well, the thing is I guess the question comes down to: is it William Stryker by himself against Deathbird, or is it William Stryker and all of the resources that he has?
I mean, I'd say with his resources, because a mutant ability is no different than a resource.
Okay. Because if we're counting all of William Stryker's resources, I think I'm going with William Stryker.
Yeah. Yeah, all the chat saying Stryker as well. I don't think people like Deathbird, though, honestly.
I don't think anybody likes Deathbird.
No.
She's kind of a shitty character.
A little bit, yeah. A smidge. All right, so Stryker is moving on. He's back at his Alkaline Lake doing Canadian work.
Doing Canadian things for the U.S. military.
Exactly. All right, next up, we have Shadow King versus Emma Frost.
Ooh, Shadow King and Emma Frost.
Two psychics.
Yep. One of them is considered one of the most dangerous psychic entities in existence.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one can turn into diamonds.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't have to be straight up battle. It could just be who you think the better villain is, too.
Yeah.
However you want to categorize it.
I feel like Emma Frost is one of those characters that will lull you into a false sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is somebody who will be a good guy every now and then.
Yeah.
And then just turn her back on you and screw you over.
Right. I mean, City Wong does bring up one is in the astral plane, the other is the White Queen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he's in the astral plane, what's he doing to you if you're not on the astral plane?
Exactly. Like if they're fighting each other, you're on the astral plane.
Yeah.
And that means you're on his turf.
Yeah.
Anytime you're on his turf, he has the advantage.
But is she? Doesn't part of her diamond skin make her immune to other psychics?
There's something like that where she I know she has an immunity to other psychics.
I thought when she has that up, she is immune to psychics. So I guess the question is, does her diamond skin translate to her astral self?
Right.
And would that protect her against Shadow King? Because that's the only way he's going to get you, unless he takes another physical form.
Right. I don't know. My intuition is pointing to Shadow King.
Yeah. I'm doing wrong. Emma Frost is badass.
She is. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. She is an amazing character. She's really well written in almost everything she's in.
Yeah.
But like my intuition is telling me that like it is pointing towards Shadow King. Shadow King subdued Xavier, and he's one of the most powerful psychics to ever exist.
That's true. That's true. But did he just put, a bar on his wheelchair so he couldn't go after him?
Well, he also subdued his son. It was another extreme.
His psychosis is enough to make him the most dangerous mutant ever.
Yeah. Yes. Given that, yeah, he another kind of hindrance that Legion has is that he's mentally unstable. But I mean, like, still, like, Shadow King was able to subdue and manipulate Legion in a way that, like, really nobody else could.
Yeah. Yeah, he's terrifying.
Yeah, and remember, Legion is an Omega level mutant, so I mean, like, that's kind of what points me towards Shadow King, is that it's some of the things that Shadow King has been able to do that nobody else was able to do.
Yeah. So far it's just you and I going Shadow King. The rest is chat's going Emma.
Really, they're just going for Emma Frost because she's hot.
And that's fair. It's a fair assessment. If you're going off of hotness as your scale, more power to you.
Yep. And then we don't fault you for going after Emma Frost, but
doesn't stop Cyclops because he likes his psychics.
Right.
I think that if Emma Frost just had red hair, he would have been all over that.
We all know Scott's intention is to have children and abandon them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing he's really good at.
That's very true.
Yeah, we said it.
That's the best secondary mutation of all time. So
is the ability to abandon children.
Oh yeah. All right. So as of right now, unless Sandra changes her mind, which you can, Sandra, if you want to change your mind to Shadow King, you can go right ahead. But Emma Frost moving forward right now.
Oh.
All right. So next up, we have Dark Phoenix versus Apocalypse.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Because I am not sure that's ever happened.
I don't think so either, man. That's not fair. That is absolutely not fair.
I don't know, because you destroy Jean Grey and she comes back for the 80th time.
Right.
Apocalypse gets destroyed and he's been around for 10,000 years.
I don't know if you can actually kill Apocalypse.
I don't think you can. The bracket is Marvel villains. Yeah, so number of times destroyed, Apocalypse, never Dark Phoenix, all the time.
But caveat to that, because yes, Dark Phoenix has been defeated, or Jean Grey has been defeated, but the Phoenix Force as an entity has never been defeated. Has never been killed, at least to say.
Yeah, so we have a mutant god versus a cosmic god.
Right.
Essentially.
A billion entity.
Broken shadow in the dust.
But
Broken heart, you let it rise.
Apocalypse is a villain to be a villain.
Look back to eyes and bring
The original origin of Dark Phoenix was essentially the mind of a alien and essentially a scared child into a body of a person. The first time we are introduced to Dark Phoenix,
right?
So it's almost like a baby rattlesnake or a baby viper that they're just too powerful and you don't know how to control the amount of venom they have. That's why they're the most dangerous, because they're newborns essentially.
Right.
Versus Apocalypse, who probably would find a way to harness Dark Phoenix, quite honestly.
He would. He 100%. If Apocalypse knew what was happening, you know, like if the Phoenix emerged and he knew enough about the Phoenix, which that's the other thing Apocalypse has over everybody is knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. If Apocalypse were to kind of like realize, oh, the Phoenix is here, Phoenix Force is here, and he found a way to harness the Phoenix Force. Oh my God, that's a comic that needs to happen.
Right.
Marvel, take this idea, please.
It would be Dark Apocalypse.
I mean, they've already done Red Onslaught. It's not like they didn't do this.
Yeah. Or almost like the Dark before the Apocalypse.
Oh, dude. We need to go pitch we need to go pitch an idea to Marvel, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be insane.
Or maybe we hit up Liefeld and be like, hey, here's an I know you're retiring from Deadpool. You should do this Dark Apocalypse idea that we have. Actually, I'm gonna see Chris Marion this weekend, dude.
Yeah, do it.
I should talk to Chris Marion. I should talk to oh my God, that's such a good idea, dude.
Because you know who would be needed to defeat Dark Apocalypse?
Who?
I'd say all the frayed minds. You would need Scarlet Witch. You need Legion. You need Onslaught. You would need Franklin Richards.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? You would have to take the craziest, most unstable people and make them team up.
This is the greatest idea that's ever been ideated.
Yeah.
Shit. This needs to happen.
I don't disagree. I mean, God, he would harness it. He would almost have. He'd build a container that would just it'd be like a glowy belly part for him. You know what I mean? You'd see like the Phoenix on his stomach or on his chest as he harnessed it.
Oh my God! You know who else could do this? Because they've been getting back in touch with Marvel and stuff. Is Lawrence Iriarte?
Ooh, yeah. Sounds like a meeting we need to have with them.
Yeah. Imagine if, because I'm not a writer. This is good in concept. You know, we would need to actually write this. Unless you wanted to write it. I mean, hey, more power to you, dude.
No, I think that would be it'd be an insane thing. It's just how that's never happened. I have no idea.
No, that's such a good idea. How has nobody thought of this?
This is why we do these brackets.
Yeah. Absolutely nobody has thought of this idea. This is like the greatest Marvel comic crossover that anyone has thought of.
Yeah. I just imagine the team that they'd have to build.
Yeah.
You'd almost need also God Emperor Doom.
What if Doom is the only person who can stop? Because, you know, it's the combination of the magic and the science.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to come up with some kind of like magical sciencey fucking, you know, thing to stop him.
Yeah. Like that would be it would have to be the Dark Avengers. Hands down.
What's the current state of Apocalypse in the comics right now?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know when the last time they did something run with them. I thought it was like maybe 2018. They had something, right?
I think so. I think think Survival of the Fittest was in like 2018.
Might have been then. All right, go talk to Lawrence. We'll make it happen.
Oh my god, dude, this needs to be a thing. It's such a good idea.
Oh, that being said, Apocalypse moves forward against our Phoenix. I'm assuming who did you vote for overall?
Oh, Apocalypse.
Those two. Yeah.
Apocalypse is my all-time favorite villains. I mean,
oh yeah,
Apocalypse,
of course. So, all right, this is gonna be an interesting one next. The Sentinels versus Sauron.
The Sentinels. I'm sorry. Sauron is a very intelligent character, and he can outsmart a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But the Sentinels would just overwhelm him. I don't feel like Sauron would. I don't feel like he would last against a legion of Sentinels.
Can he absorb their energy?
I don't know if he can because they're robots. It's not the same type of kinetic energy that he usually absorbs.
Would he be able to do if it was Bastion or Nimrod?
Can he absorb off of Bastion and Nimrod?
Well, technically, Bastion's mutant, so yes.
So he could do Bastion.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I still agree though that I don't know. We've never seen him face Sentinels. I think 2 Sentinels could probably take care of him. Quite honestly,
I think I don't feel like because Sentinels are designed to combat mutants, and I feel like he could the Sentinels could counteract him fairly easily.
Oh, easily, yeah. See, Wong says Sentinels as well. Yep, it's all Sentinels across the board.
Yeah, like I don't feel like it would be a hard pull for the Sentinels to stop.
No. Chat completely agrees as well. All right, so Sentinels move on. Next up, we have Lady Deathstrike versus the Brood.
Lady Deathstrike against the Brood. The Brood.
You'd go Brood.
That's their whole deal, is taking over mutants.
Yeah. I think she would kill a lot of them.
Right. I was going to say, I think that she would put up a valiant effort and she wouldn't go easily. But I think after a while, the difference between like someone like Lady Deathstrike and the Brood is the Brood will just continue to throw spawn at them. Lady Deathstrike's going to get tired.
Even with her cybernetic enhancements?
Yeah, I think eventually Lady Deathstrike gets tired.
She needs to change her AA batteries. They're clearly up her butt. I mean, she would be on a stack, like a huge stack of Brood.
I think that would be probably one of the most epic splash pages ever. Is her mowing down Brood for days, because she does have a lot of stamina. So like just days of killing Brood.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I think she succumbs to the overwhelming numbers that the Brood would bring.
Now, what if it was X-23, Wolverine, Lady Deathstrike, and Draken?
Oh, then they win.
How many Wolverines does it take to wipe out the Brood?
Because eventually they're gonna, they're gonna be at least with Draken, because Draken is, eventually will be like, we need to go find the Queen.
Yep.
Whereas Logan might sit there and try and kill everything that's in front of him, but Draken's a little smarter than his dad.
Wolverine would be making a barbecue pit, eating the Brood while fighting them.
That is 100% correct. He would. You are
Yeah.
100% right there. Logan would be finding reasons to eat them.
Oh, easily. Yep. Olive Chat says the brood as well. All right. Last one for tonight, probably. Next up, we have Magneto versus Omega Red.
Hate to say it, Magneto.
Because Omega Red has what in him?
He's nothing but adamantium, dude. He's like all adamantium. He's metal. He's a metal man.
He is.
Like I said, it saddens me that I have to say this is how we're getting rid of him, but he would not last. Magneto would wreck him.
Yeah, Omega Red's also one of those we discussed before. He's not someone you defeat. You just put him on ice, and he goes away temporarily.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that Magneto would just crush him into a tiny Russian ball.
Yeah.
And then probably throw him on Neptune.
Yeah.
For good measure.
Because why not?
Right. He likes ice? Fine. Let's see. We'll on Neptune, see what he does with that. Chat is all saying Magneto as well. Not much to surprise there. As much as we love Omega Red, and we do.
I love Omega Red. We've talked a lot about how much we love Omega Red.
Oh yeah. We are not shameful in our X-Men villain love at all.
Love for that particular Russian dude.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. So Magneto is moving on. So Phil, we're about to end the show. Where are you at with your jet?
I've got 2 bags left.
Oh.
And just so we can see here, it's pretty much the jet at this point. So, at this space age ass jet. So,
and how many pieces is this thing altogether?
It's like 23 something.
Oh wow!
So right now, in where it's at, I have to have the landing gear up.
Yeah,
the landing gear down, because now there are pieces. There's like aerodynamic pieces on here that don't allow it to be sitting down. So,
damn,
this thing's pretty freaking cool.
Love it.
Yeah, it's dope. And then the nose comes down. So if you're like familiar with like some of the stuff that this jet does,
yeah,
right. It's got that nose that comes down. And again, it's this whole piece in the middle comes off, and you can see like it's got bathrooms and like chairs and seats and stuff. It's a pretty cool, pretty detailed thing. And I've got 2 bags left. I know one of them is the mount. The rest of it, I believe, is I think there's like another piece of the jet that comes out off of this.
Taylor says your jet's huge.
That's what she said.
It is. Yes.
Let me switch over. It's funny because you it's funny because you asked me where I am with the jet, and I had just finished the last piece of that bag.
Perfect timing. It's like we've done this before.
I know. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what it is. So the next week, the stuff that I'm gonna finish, there is there's a tail fin back there.
Okay.
And then the mount that it sits on.
Are you doing the mount?
Yeah.
You might have to open up a new Lego set next week too.
Possibly, because there's only 2 bags left on this. So.
Sweet.
All right. Let's switch this over here. In all reality, it's my jet. Well, It is his jet because he's letting me borrow it.
Right, as we Taylor, as we said last week or the week before, when he's done, he's going to throw it to you, and he's going to from his roof and have it fly to your arms.
Exactly.
So
just to recap, where are we in totality on this bracket? What do we have left?
So for the second half of this bottom piece, we have Fabian Cortez versus Mr. Sinister.
Okay.
We have Cassandra Nova versus Bastion.
Ooh.
Blob versus Striker. And that will give us our final 8. So we'll be probably wrapping this up probably next week. So I will have to make another bracket and have it ready to go just in case.
We finished the Disney one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My wife was not happy with the results.
Oh, yeah. Aladdin one, right?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids won that one. Okay.
I think she would have preferred Hocus Pocus. So
I'm sure she would have. I'm sure a lot of people would have. You know, a movie wasn't on that list, or was it? Nightmare Before Christmas. Was it on the list?
No.
I'm sure that would have won somewhere in there.
I don't consider it a Disney movie. I consider it a Tim Burton movie. So.
But it's still a Disney movie, though. Like, Disney made the movie, and it's featured at Disneyland.
I know. Like I said, I only picked like 5 or 4 per decade for the up into the 90s. So there's so many Disney movies.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, that is it from us, guys. Let's jump into this. Graveyard. Tell everybody about where they can find you, all of the funny shit you guys talk about on Pod Out at Night.
Yeah, so I'm Graveyard, co-host of the Mostly Pod Out at Night. Mostly Pod
at night. Mostly.
No green screen today because it's hot as hell in this office.
I actually prefer it without the green screen, dude. I enjoy seeing your office.
Yeah. Thank you. So you can follow us on social media at Pod at Night. We have new episodes releasing on anywhere you get your podcasts every Wednesday evening. Make sure to check it out. Go to Apple Podcasts. If we get 200 reviews in Apple Podcast, we will have a loot box. And officially, I can be a SAG writer. So let's make that happen.
Oh, look at that. I am definitely going to go leave you guys a review. I and it's funny, like it's almost like you don't know what's going on in your own show, because like I messaged you about, just for some reason, that joke that Salem had just tickled me.
Yeah.
I don't know why that particular joke in that particular episode.
It's funny you mentioned that, because he always has character names from the theme that we're doing, and so that was his character name too. So he just calls himself something different every single time. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And make sure to check out Conversations in the Void. We are talking to anyone and everyone and anyone in the horror world. We are booked solid the rest of the year, with special shows coming out every Sunday in October as well, because it's spooky time. So we will be ramping everything up for October, because we have 12 podcasts and then 8 shows for October, so we're gonna be busy.
God, so much happening, man. Let's bring me over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not going to Carson City this weekend, why not go to Carson City? You know why? Horror dads are going to be there. We're going to be doing an interview with horror dads at KyberCon. We're going to be doing KyberCon. Sorry. Sandra, don't worry, I'm going to shout you out at BoomCon. We're going to be doing a sci-fi writers. Again, I'm mixing up my words. Just so you know, I'm tired. A sci-fi writers panel, and we're also going to be doing an indie comics panel with friends of the show, Redwood Comics and SYD Studios. So they'll be on that panel. It's going to be fun to talk to our friends and new people. So make your way to KyberCon this weekend. KyberCon, damn it. Make your way to KaboomCon. KyberCon was like a couple weeks ago. Make your way to KaboomCon in Carson City. It's going to be a good time, guys. It's on Saturday, and we're going to be there having a crap ton of fun. Now, this is where I was getting at this. Kyber Cave on Sunday. DeLong Family Cosplay is going to be on there talking their experiences and cons and everything like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun on all that stuff right there. So yeah, guys, make your way to all the events that we've got going on. We're gonna have a whole crap ton of fun, and it's all because of you guys. So, we will continue.
And Sandra was correct. Aladdin won the Disney. I checked it.
Okay, so Aladdin won.
Yeah,
still probably upset your wife. So
yes.
Yeah. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, connect with us on all the social media platforms, everywhere where you get your social medias, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. Twitch, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Discord, MySpace, Vine, GeoCities, Friendster, Second Life, AIM, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle, OnlyFans. It's only pictures of Aaron Watson's feet and handles, even though he's suing us for that. The beard, because the beard does what it wants. And James's glasses just staring at you on the screen. And apparently, whatever Shadu would do for money.
Which is everything.
Everything. He will do anything for money. He's not even here to defend himself. Even better. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to, if you would like us to break up with your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, pet, schoolyard bully, annoying neighbor, or just tell us how much you enjoy us, hate us, or wish the internet would consume us completely and spit us out at the feet of Dark Apocalypse. God, that's a good idea.
Concept by Graveyard and Phil.
Oh, yes. Chris Marion, I'm going to talk to you this weekend. No, I'm giving this to Lawrence. Lawrence,
there you go.
If you're listening, if you're watching this later, man, we're going to have this conversation. You can send us an email at insnerding@aol.com, and we will read it live on air. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. Oh, it's still on that screen. Okay. It's just me. Okay. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. We will see everybody this weekend. Make your way down to Carson City, and if not, then we will see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the dance party. Let's get it going.
You know, Deadpool has to be fighting Dark Apocalypse too.
That means we really need to get Rob Liefeld on it.
Yeah.
We'll see everybody this weekend. Bye.